there is a transitioning point in a man's life where he is no longer, where he's regarded with more respect. On a totem pole, he's rising on that totem pole.
Right.
I think it's actually correlating to age, maturity as well, but also age. Right? Bro, tell me this, man. When did you first get called big bro? When did that happen and what did it feel like?
Oh, man, that great question. It was so weird. So weird and so uncomfortable. On social media, in the comments, probably a few years ago, one of my workout videos, and I kept seeing the word "unk" on here and there on the videos. And then I turned to Anjali and I was like, am I unk now? What happened? When did I become unk, right? Because obviously because of the gray hairs, they associate me, think I'm older. And I'm like, well, I thought unk was like, someone in their 50s, you know what I'm saying? But obviously it's based off of maturity and how you look, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of threw me for a loop, but social media was the first time I was called unk. And it's even growing bigger now. So now it's unk. And I accepted. At first I was fighting it. I was like, bro, nah, man, nah. But until I had my granddaughters, I was like, it's cool. It's time. I got to be unk. I'm going to sit back and chill. And I'm going to embrace it. So I embrace it now. I do have a lot of knowledge and wisdom that I've gained over the years and something that I want to help people in any form or fashion. So I accept it now. I embrace it. But at first it was a little difficult to accept. I can't lie to you.
Okay. In our culture, being referred to as unk, which is short for uncle, or bro, big bro, refers to an age difference, is where this comes from. Nick, my brother, tell me, what did it feel like and what it referred to as? Where were you at? In the gym? Were you hooping? What was it?
I was hooping. And I didn't get called unk. Somebody called me OG. And
OG.
I was like, okay, cool. I felt good with it. I ain't even trip. I felt good with it because I was like, wow, okay, I'm OG now. And I felt good because with me growing up as a kid, OG was like the person you looked up to, like that cool dude.
Yeah.
So I felt like, okay, I'm that dude. I felt like that guy. Because I knew, they was like, man, I can't believe how old you are. So that felt good. So that made me feel even better.
Right.
It's respect.
As a reminder, how old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay, go ahead.
43.
I'm 43. But I think it's a respect level. I think when you call somebody OG, it's like a stamp.
Yeah.
Certified. Right. So I felt like, I'm good. So now I can be OG when I'm
Now's my time.
I ain't made the unk status.
They called you unk,
But doesn't it feel like it comes with a greater responsibility, though? Yeah. You like, oh, I take this serious. I'm being watched. I have to take this serious and make sure I'm on my P's and Q's and make sure I'm giving the right information out because I take it serious. If you look at me as unk or like you say OG, that means you look at me as your elder and you are looking for sound advice and me to guide you in whatever direction you're looking for. So I did take it serious. I think I was a little apprehensive because I was like, this is serious.
Yeah.
I have to take this serious.
Yeah.
This is how they look at me now. You know what I'm saying?
Rites of passage. As I take my sip of this bamboo, I got to tell y'all about my story here.
Oh, you done made the unk status?
No, I ain't calling. They call me unk.
They ain't calling you unk?
I'm not that much younger than y'all. I'm 39, turning 40. So
oh man, you unk, man. Come on, man.
So I'm there, right? but I'm catching it more so when I'm on base working out.
Okay.
So I work out on base, Moody Air Force Base, and the population of those guys is fresh out of high school, and they retire typically around 38 or so, right? So a young 18, 19, 20-year-old kid is seeing me, and they see me and they say, "What's going on, big bro?" I heard a little bit, and it wasn't crazy.
You heard it?
Big bro. No, I heard it. I was okay with it. Big bro. Okay, I get it because I'm the big bro by way of size.
Right.
Or was it my maturity? Or was it my age? I don't know.
Right.
But it was a reverence being given, and I respected that. On the internet, social network, though, I started seeing reference being made.
Right.
To big bro. And I seen unk before, but not too commonly. But to go back to what you said a second ago about the social status, it's a rites of passage.
Yes.
To walk into the position of being honored or recognized as the big bro.
Right.
The unk, the OG.
Right.
And this is the reason why we have this podcast going now. Nick is doing a phenomenal job. By the way, Nick Clark is my blood cousin, who hosts a podcast called The Firm. We'll leave a link to that for sure. Check it out. Definitely some good stuff coming across that. Awesome gems. But the reason behind this segment of our cast, this podcast, is for us to speak from the experience that we've been given or that we've lived. And I think we'd be severely remiss if we didn't share this with the younger generations.
Without a doubt.
You know what I mean? Because we've experienced something. And as Nick said earlier, you said the first line to one of your podcasts was...
Talk about testimony, like God gives you a testimony to share with the people.
Yeah.
Understanding that because I think we talked about before, like growing up, you always kept your business to yourself. And I just think God gives you a story to share with others, just to be a blessing to other people or to inspire other people. So that was kind of my mindset. Just I wanted to share my story.
And I love that. Hearing that literally 10 minutes ago changed my world. I'm happy that I share already, but now I feel even more of a pressing charge because God put me through certain things to have a testimony, but now I must do what I'm supposed to do with that testimony, which is share that for the betterment of others. Yeah. And because I now have that status of big bro, OG, the whatever may be here, we got to do that, right? We got to do that.
Right,
now, with that disclaimer being given, we have been raised in a certain era where things look different for us. Yeah. Our definition of a term we always thought was a great term, but it seems to now have a little added adjective that doesn't belong there. And they're calling it toxic. Yeah. Masculinity in and of itself is not toxic. But somehow someone tried to hinge the word toxic onto it. Yeah. So now people hear masculinity and they oftentimes think of toxic masculinity.
Yes.
It's not the same.
Not the same.
Masculinity can be toxic, much like femininity can be toxic.
Right.
But masculinity, much like femininity, is just that. It is an actual thing.
Right.
Masculinity by way of our generation is a little different, I believe.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Physically, mentally. What we call a man, right?
Yes.
The TNT era you referred to, bro.
Yes.
Explain the TNT era to those who don't understand the TNT.
TNT, Turner Network Television.
Yeah.
I think I got that correct.
The 80s and 90s.
The 80s and 90s. It resonated heavily with me and my brother because growing up, my mother used to work a lot. I came from a single parent household. So we didn't have a man in the household. So TNT movies like Rocky, Commando, Predator with Arnold and Sly, Rambo. That was my first real experience to like men, real masculine, hyper masculine men. And so that was my first time saying, that's a man. That's what I want to look like and be like, right? Big crashes, booms, big muscles and stuff like that. So I connected masculinity to the physical part, right? And then they were also smart and intelligent in other areas. So that was my first experience, and that's what I wanted to be like. I was like, okay, I want to be like Arnold. I want to be like these guys. I wanted to be like Michael Jordan.
Physically capable.
Physically capable. They seem to be confident. They seem to be very sure of themselves, and they just handle business. So that was my first experience as a single father. I mean, as it's coming from a single parent home. Now, as I've aged and got mature, even though those were the options that I had in front of me, I would say your hero should be your father. I love LeBron James. LeBron James is amazing, but LeBron James shouldn't necessarily be your hero. Your father should be your hero. You see what I'm saying? But we, in our community, we're absent of that figure. So TNT was heavily used for me, and I greatly appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So TNT, love you. I don't think do they.
Masculinity showed you that part here.
Yes.
But watch this though, guys. So the complication that came into all of our lives was while we saw the physical brawn of what a man was. I saw in Rambo, he walked down a hill, like he said earlier, with a log on his head, shiny big old biceps. I've seen guys playing NBA basketball games, dunking, flying through the air, running backs running through front scrimmage lines. I've seen some wild stuff happening, right? But things got complicated when we all had what we all have now. Which is children.
Yes.
Especially daughters.
Man.
Nick, tell me, big dog, because you happen to have 2 daughters.
Okay.
True girl.
The challenge that came, your version that you defined as a man, but how you learned to go one step further in your emotional sensitivity by having a daughter. The soft hand you cultivated as a masculine man with children.
I can say this, man. A daughter will definitely bring the softest side of any man. They will definitely make us soft. I think with me, they made me think about my delivery. I always have to think about, okay, how do I approach her? How do I say it the right way? How does she take this? So I'm overly sensitive in that space because I don't want to come at her in a manner that kind of makes her feel uncomfortable and uneasy. So it makes me have to think about, okay, how's dad going to say this to her? Is the timing right?
Right.
Especially with my daughter going, I'm just going to use this for to keep it clean. It's getting older. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
It's becoming a woman. So
Okay.
it's like now I gotta think about, okay, now I have to be extra sensitive because, okay, let me see, she's going through this.
Right.
So they made me softer because they made me just tap into a vulnerable space.
Yeah.
But I do love the space that I have to tap into because it's made me a better dad. I think it's made me just a better person in general. Because two, my empathy comes to the forefront. And love comes to the forefront more than anything because you have daughters. You have to think about certain things. So
Absolutely. So my auntie Jackie, his mom, definitely instilled upon him, as my mother did to me, all the awesome women of our lives, emotional intelligence. So being able to recognize how to approach or recognize emotion and how we should approach. We are all men of stature. We're sitting down. I'm 6'3", MJ sitting around 6'3" as well. Nick is 6'6". So knowing how we come across to others is extremely important.
Right.
So learning to have a more delicate hand, but also recognizing when and how to use that, right? As I like to say oftentimes, we are our daughter's first boyfriends. We show them how a man should treat them. We set that bar. So I want every man out here to know that you are setting the bar for what she's going to expect or what she's going to accept later on in life. MJ, your first was a girl, bro.
Yes.
Tell me that experience, man.
It was similar to Nick. It was all love. I was excited. You know, there was a level of fear because I was like, oh my God, a girl, what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? And my experience was a little different than most because I was a single father. You know what I'm saying? I had full custody of my daughter from when she was 6. So it was really like tough to navigate through as a girl because you can't speak to them like like you would your boys or something. Like I'll give you a quick example, right? So I was dating someone and I remember she came to my place and she was so concerned. She was like, "You're raising her like a wolf," because I didn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? So I would treat her like one of the guys. I'm dapping her up, like, "You good? You need anything?" And through those experiences, it softened me up. I was able to communicate better, and I leaned on my mother and other aunties and sisters to, help me learn how to communicate with a young lady. But it was really, really challenging. But then I'm still her father, but I started to understand, learning how to communicate, learning how to talk to her, and like literally, she's an adult now, and I have a granddaughter. She's like literally my best friend. She calls me if anything's wrong and all of those things. So we have a really, really tight relationship, but I'm not gonna hold you. It was very difficult learning how to communicate with a young lady, but as to Nick said, it made me better. And it made me better in how I communicate outside of our relationship with women. You know what I'm saying? Just lead with love, as he said, and being able to understand and have a level of empathy when it comes to women. So it showed me something well.
I think something you said too, I tell people this all the time. I'm similar to you. I've had custody of my daughter since she was 3. She's 11. So it's crazy because I say this. Nobody loves a girl. Nobody loves a man like a little girl loves her dad.
Oh,
my daughter, the way sometimes she'll just get in the car. You all right, Dad?
Yeah.
How she know?
Yeah. I've had that happen before.
She always gonna say, "Are you good?" Like she get in her room watching TV, she's gonna come check on me and say, "Dad, you all right? You need something?" She just understands that. I don't know if there's that connection.
Oh yeah, and when you're going through something traumatic, those experiences when she say you good, because she's like that too. She's very in tune with my energy. It almost break you. It'd be like, damn. I'm good. I'm good. We good. We gonna work this out. You know what I'm saying?
And she knew. She just felt that she knew that. And this is something where I'm sure the comment section might very well light up. But speaking as a father to our daughters, there's a different connection that's happening. Our father to a child, but definitely a father to his daughter. So we're speaking from a place of experience. Never mind your textbook or what you've learned. This is from a real place of absolute experience. Nick was not helping Myron with his parenting. Myron's not helping me with my parenting. We all have our own experience with this. I'm with my wife in raising our children, so much easier path. And my wife the whole time shows me, illustrates to me how I should move when I'm dealing with my daughter and my son. I treat them both as equals because they are equal, but our approaches are different.
Right.
Simple as that. You know what I mean? I am tooling a young man to experience the world as the world's going to treat a young man.
Right.
Never mind what you think gender and sex and everything else is. I am tooling a young man to deal with the world as they're going to deal with him.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not giving him preconceived notions. I'm just preparing him.
Right.
For what's to come. My daughter, the same thing. The lucky thing I do have, though, is the blessing, I should say, is my wife is there real time to show, which is a blueprint for my daughter, right? So that definitely is an easy thing. You guys, before I start crying, thinking about these little girls we got here, man.
Yeah,
tell me this, man. As we get older, being physically capable is a thing. Being physically capable.
Yes.
Nick, obviously elite level basketball player your whole life on through collegiate and continue to play now. Myron is still hooping now, 40 plus, elite level still. So don't try it. That might be the OG, but the OG will dunk on you. So watch out.
Yes.
Myron will definitely out bench press, squat you, curl you on anything out here. And don't try me because I'm definitely capable as well.
Capable. We move slow, but when it's time to go,
it's intentional. You know what I mean? Very intentional how we move.
Right.
But our health and wellness is an important thing, man.
Yeah.
Because we want to be here for them.
Absolutely.
Your daughter is 11. Mine is 10, about to be 11 in a short few weeks.
I gotta say 11 and 14.
11 and 14, sorry. 11 and 14. Don't get me. Hey, ladies, little cousins, I love y'all. Don't get me. Of course, it's two of you. I love both of you.
Right.
But keeping ourselves physically capable to protect. And I take pride in being able to protect and provide.
Yeah.
Some say that's not a role of a man, but I challenge that. It is. I take pride in my ability to protect and provide.
Yeah.
Much like my wife takes pride in her ability to bring life to full conception or to full birth, right?
Without a doubt.
And able to even nurse that child. We have our own strong places, right?
Yeah.
Bro, when did you find yourself wanting to really look out for your health to make sure you were here and solid to take care of those guys? Was there a story of specificity?
Well, I'll say this. It's not a story, a specific story to that, but I'll tell you this. It was something that was really gratifying for me when I would go pick my daughter up from school. This is probably when she was probably in the first or second grade. The way the other kids responded to me when I went and picked her up. You know, at this time I was way bigger. I was 330 pounds. And they knew the next day she comes to school, she's like, well, she comes home and she's like, Dad, nobody will talk, the guys won't talk to me. Everyone's afraid because you came and ate lunch with me, this, that, and the third. And I was like, good. They should be afraid. And then that's when I realized my physical stature, it really meant something to her surroundings, and it also made her feel safe. And also set a standard of how a man should move, or not necessarily look, but you should be able to be physically capable. I don't care if you are lifting weights, weight training,
marathon running, having your health in control.
MMA, jiu-jitsu, a man should have a way to be able to be capable to protect not only himself, but his family. So those experiences and the teachers, the way they gravitated towards her, and she would come home, she's like, Dad, you like really like a big dude, big time dude. Because she would just see me as dad, you know what I mean? And being around me, cuddling up with me, and she always felt that energy and felt safe, just like any woman does.
Yeah.
Women are attracted not necessarily to muscles, it's stature and being safe. They just want to feel safe when they're around you, that nobody's going to come and just snatch them up. Because, you know, there was a period of time where obviously we've made the world very safe because we have police officers, security, and all those different things. But there was a time when a woman would gravitate towards a man because she needed to be protected and make sure she wouldn't be taken advantage of. So I'm always going to be a firm believer in physicality is extremely important. But yeah, that was it. And she sees it to the day. She still comes to me crying. She's like, oh, I'm calling my daddy.
Man, the cool thing about it, man, I'll tell you, is this, is just as everyone understands about health and wellness and the discussion of so, is Myron heavy in the gym, lifting weights in a real structured routine. Nick has not stopped playing basketball since he put on his first pair of shoes, 5 years old. Literally, every year in a season, clean through high school seasons, clean through college seasons, hooping in some league or some style of team play in basketball. That is definitely taking care of yourself.
Yes.
You don't have to be in the gym lifting weights or running miles on end. Find yourself a nice team sport that keeps you physically capable, keeps you healthy. Absolutely. Because you're going to buy yourself more fellowship years here on earth. And beyond that, you're going to feel like you're walking in your actual right, which is to protect and look after those who you're supposed to be protecting, you're supposed to be protecting and looking after.
Yes.
Right?
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Good stuff here. Good stuff here, you guys.
And I'll add this. Another thing that's keeping me going is my granddaughters. Seeing them, now they're walking around and stuff, I want to be available and here for them. I want to see them because they're going to be moving, they're going to be running and stuff, and I need to be able to keep up with them. You know, these young kids, they got a lot of energy, and I want to be available and ready because my job is to protect and to provide. And if I'm not here, if I'm not physically capable and taking care of my health, I don't want. I just take that very personal, you know, when it comes to that.
Yeah. Tell me this, man. And I'm gonna. If I start to meddle too far, definitely cut me off and reel me back in some.
Let's go.
You have a love in your life. What was that like, though, having kids and the idea of dating? Was that a thing, or you had to sit back and leave it alone for a while, or
I
hard
think
balance?
I'll tell you this. Like I would tell any woman, especially when you are dating with a child, I would say wait. You know, because I've made a lot of mistakes with my daughter. I'm not gonna lie. We talk about this, and if I can go back and change some things, I would have waited until I was an empty nester before I started taking dating serious. Because bringing someone in your household can be problematic. I don't know if anyone, Nick, I'm not sure if you've ever lived or was the head of a blended household. Sometimes those things can be problematic, and so sometimes it can be challenging. So my daughter is very protective over me. So bringing another woman into the household, at times that could be, you know, because as much as I'm her first love, she's my first love, and she's very possessive over me. So sometimes it would be a problematic situation. And if I can go back and change some things, I probably would have waited till I brought someone around, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not telling nobody not have fun, enjoy yourself. If you can manage it, go for it. But
The stakes is high.
the stakes is very high.
Yeah.
Be very mindful and careful of that, especially as a single parent.
Yeah.
It can be hard.
Yeah, sure enough then. That's definitely an interesting subject. Again, I only ask you guys vicariously living through you. But I want you to answer these kind of questions because there's a large audience of those who look up to you because you are the OG.
Yes.
Right? You are the big bro.
Yes.
And what you say is going to really help some of these guys to figure out what they're trying to figure out now on their own.
Right.
Yeah.
So definitely valuable information, right?
What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I'm gonna go back to the first question too about the health.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the health piece, what keeps me, I think this for me, I have to be there for my girls.
Yeah.
I really have to be there. I think I just knew that from the day they were born.
Right.
Because I felt like, again, I was blessed to be their father. So I'm supposed to be here all the way through this journey as long as I can be here. And I'm gonna do everything in my power to be here for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I look at, as the times change now, the world is so dangerous. I couldn't imagine leaving these two little girls out here without their father. I could not imagine it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have to be here. So even working, I do it for me, but I do it for them
do it
too.
for them.
Yeah.
They need their dad. They want their dad around. So I got to do everything I can to add more years to this life.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's
That was actually one of my biggest fears for a long time, leaving this earth too soon, that she wouldn't be able to take care of herself in a sense, because she leans on me for a lot of different things, like any father. That was most people. I don't have a whole lot of fears, but that was one of them. I was like, leaving here in this crazy world when my daughter not having access to me, and it scared me.
Terrifies you.
Yeah,
it definitely moves me. It moves me for real.
Yeah.
I want to hear in the comment section for real how you guys feel about that concept.
Yeah.
Is pushing yourself beyond doing it for yourself. Are you doing it for those who you're entrusted to take care of? Let me know. I want to know for real, because I definitely tell you what, I was definitely moved by that concept.
Yeah.
I did not want to leave this earth and leave behind a woman and two kids. Because this is a cold world, like you illustrated, Nick.
Cold world.
This is a cold world. And if I'm not here to protect them, I'm like, man, ain't nobody gonna love them or protect them like I would.
Right, exactly.
Right? So I got to be here for it. And that's what makes me take my health
Very
and longevity so serious. Right?
And I probably challenge any man to think about that. That would be my takeaway. Like, hey, do it for your family.
Yeah.
Not for you, just do it for them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of men, like, we don't take our health serious. We don't go get our yearly checkups and so on. See, I've just been blessed to be one of those men where I'm going to do all my checkups. I'm going to work out. I'm going to do whatever it takes. My motto is, I'm paying insurance. Why not use it?
You got that right.
There you go.
You're paying for it.
You're paying for it, use it.
You're paying for it, better use it.
Yeah.
You better use it. That's right. I love that. I love that. You are so right. You got to go get your checkups, man, especially within our community.
Yes.
One of the things we do not do is go to the doctor. We do not take care of our health, and it's unfortunate that we as black men, we die at a very, very early age.
A preventable disease.
That is preventable, right?
Yeah.
We can catch
Prostate, heart, what is it, cardiac arrest, or the number one
of men,
of men. You know what I mean? So
really in that category, right?
We'll take a page from the ladies' book. You know, one will go, if she gets the wrong call for too long, she's going to the doctor.
Going to the
and
doctor.
You might say, well, baby, you're at the doctor all the time. I need to go get checked out. I need to make sure everything is good.
Yeah.
We need to exercise the same principles.
Sure enough. Makes a lot of sense to me, big dog. Makes a lot of sense to me. Not getting into too many hard questions, but this question means a lot to me as well, though. Generations of youth are being raised. They're growing in homes that don't have a dad and a mom present.
Yeah.
I would say easy 4 or 5 generations growing up with no dad present. I found myself dealing with and meeting some of these youth. The young man, 18, 19 years old, who doesn't understand how he should look me in the eye and speak to me and even shake my hand with a firm handshake.
Yeah.
Instead, he looks down and away.
Right.
Almost in a cowardice type format, but I don't think he actually recognizes that.
Right.
And the unfortunate truth I think we're realizing is that this guy doesn't know what a man should project or carry himself because he hasn't seen a man.
Right.
So he doesn't know the blueprint to follow on being a man.
Yeah.
This will be challenged in the comment section. I know it will be. But amongst men, there definitely is a code in how we carry ourselves.
Yes.
Respectability, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there a fix or anything coming around the corner to help put this train back on the proper track by way of young men understanding what they should be doing or how they should be acting as young men, how they should treat women, how they should treat their fellow man?
Right.
Is there something coming around the corner to help us out, or?
My opinion, and I know this is going to sound very pessimistic in a sense, I don't see it because social media is pretty much running the world, and then you have so many single-parent households, and they're looking up to now. It's not even TV; it's YouTube, it's social media. Those are the people that they follow and they look to, and I find that the lack of masculinity, the firm handshake. You have grown men that don't even look at you in the eye. You have grown men that have a soft handshake. So where are they going to get it from? So that's why I think platforms like this are so important to teach those things. Say, for instance, Kevin Samuels and Andrew Tate, they're very polarizing figures. They get a lot of slack. But there's one thing you cannot say about them. They taught and they stood on masculinity and how you carry yourself as a man, regardless of whatever you thought about them or certain topics or discussions, they stood on that. Yeah. And I think you need, as men, to just have those conversations about masculinity and how you carry yourselves. One of the things that I love to see, I've seen a couple of these around, they have camps. And I would love to put one of these together where we have young men come together, we sit down, we have conversations about masculinity, men, some of the things you're going to, and more important, etiquette. How you talk to a man, how you shoulders up, chin up, walk with confidence. Like, you know how they have it in some places where they have the young ladies where they have those balls and dances. They
charm
teach
school
you
and stuff like that. Yeah.
We need to start bringing those back for our young men so they'll know how to move when it comes out here, when it's attached to their masculinity. It's important. I see it all the time. And this is like we're in 2024 and you got grown men with their pants hanging all the way down. It's almost embarrassing. If you got a 40-year-old doing that, what do you think a 15, 16-year-old is going to do? It's completely absurd. So if the cycle doesn't change, I mean, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? And I know we can't change the world, but I think there is one thing you can do. You take care of your family, raise your children. I'll do the same. You do the same. And hopefully we can get a trickle-down effect and everyone is solid.
And see, for me, I think it's hard. I think we're at a space where it's hard. When I'm not podcasting and doing Firm, I actually work for the city of Atlanta as a team program director.
Okay.
So obviously, like this summer, we started, last summer, we started All Boys Academy.
Right.
So we went over things about how to interact with women, how to look another man in the eye, how to shake a man, what is it to be a man.
Right.
So we went over that, but the beautiful thing was our program was led by real men. So they saw men all the time. A lot of these boys had never saw a man. So we went over a lot of those things. And it was crazy how you see the kid walking there day 1 and the kid that walks out at day 40. You know, that's a different kid because he's
completely different.
Because now when I see you, hey, I'm looking at you right in your eyes. So you start off looking, now it's like, okay, I got to look Coach right in his eyes.
Yeah. Right.
Because that's what I display. And we go over those things because they haven't seen that. Yeah. So I think we can still do it because I think real men are extinct.
Yes.
But we still have to showcase that because people are going to always gravitate to what's real.
Yes.
And as men, we have to display that. We can't let that die.
No.
Just like we were talking about
at all.
hip hop. We cannot let the man masculinity die.
Yeah.
We have to teach these young boys, oh, this is how you handle a woman. This is how you change oil on a car. This is how you do these things. This is what a man does. This is how a man handles conflict. Because it was even little things we would teach them about, like, because a lot of the boys, you'll say something to them, is, I say, man, men don't do that.
Nah.
Men don't suck
Stop
their
sucking
teeth.
your
Men
teeth.
don't suck
Stop
their teeth.
sucking your teeth.
Yeah, we don't suck our
That's
teeth and
not
roll
how
our
men
eyes.
act.
That's not how
You're
men
right.
act. And they like, but coach, I thought they would. No, men don't act like that. If a man has a problem, I talk to this man, tell him what my problem is.
Have a conversation.
We don't have to fight. I can talk to him like another man. We can agree to disagree.
Right.
So teaching them those things, but I think we have to just continue to display that. And I think even too, we have to, when we see them young boys, man, just kind of give them that game.
Yeah.
You know, if you get a chance to interact with them, they just, because you can, they put like this, you're a walking example all the time.
Yeah.
Your son is looking at, okay, how does dad interact with other men?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta do just like my dad does when I meet another man. So we have to do that. So just continue to be that example. I do think even this, and just always saying this, moms have to allow men to be men in these boys' lives. Yeah. It's gonna look different. And you have to be okay with that.
Say that part again, please. Moms have to allow men
To be men.
to be men in
To lead a
boys'
man.
lives.
I always say this, I feel a woman raises a boy till he's about 9 or 10. After that, okay, the role switch. Now he's the more the driver of this car now because he's raising this young man he understands what this world is like, especially for a black man.
Yeah.
I think I was listening to something the other day with Killer Mike and he said his mom told him, Michael, I'm sorry I got to raise you like this, but I'm raising a man. And that's how it is. Sometimes even when you're raising your son, it's hard as hell. Yeah. But you as a man, we're visionaries. Yeah. I have to raise you for what's coming, not for what's right now. I'm raising you for this. Hey, man, your mama don't, hey, you get out and pump the gas for your mother.
Yes.
Your mother don't do this, you do this.
And
hey,
these boys don't know that.
If your dad is out of town working, you take the trash down there on Thursdays. Your mother don't do that. You know, and you teach them those things. And they just continue to reinforce that. But again, moms, they have to get out the way. Because if not, and a lot of times you have women that are raising sons that are not good for another woman. You have to raise your son, if you are that mother raising your son, raise your son to be the man that you would want to be that you want your man to be to you. You can't baby him, oh, his dad wasn't there. The world doesn't care about that.
They don't care how you got
They
it.
don't care about that. They do not care. Because all they're going to say is,
a lot of women, I see that a lot of women raise their sons to be the men that they don't even date. Like.
But again, so you're setting the female raised back.
They date that really the alpha, the bad guy, that guy, all those attributes that they like in that guy, but they raise their son to be soft, simple, beta. Yeah. It's very odd, and I see it all the time.
But again, you're setting the world back. Because again, the world does not care about that. The world does not care if Ron didn't have his dad. Nobody cares. Because then Ron shows their story. You know how they have my dad? Who cares? I don't care. Who cares? Yeah. That's your excuse. Yeah. We can't make excuses, man. But as men, we have to continue just to show them what a man looks like.
Man, well, I'll tell you what, that's one awesome initiative. We're going to definitely leave the details to that program in place, man. Yeah. That is super awesome. For these guys who do not have that male obviously present, there are women who are trying to raise a man. There's limitations to that. Yeah. Because she's not a man. Yeah. She does not know what it takes to be a man. She can raise a good citizen, but she cannot teach those certain details of what a man actually is. Yes. In fact, a woman can't tell a man, not a woman can't, commonplace, many women can't tell a man what a man is because she herself doesn't know what a man is. Right. She wasn't raised with a man.
Not at all.
So the same absent household, the household that was absent of a man, that young boy doesn't know the example of what a man should be like. Yes. Because there wasn't a man there. And that same woman can't tell him what a man should be because she don't know what one is also. Yeah. So these programs that you have right now, Nick, are super, super crazy impactful. Beyond any podcast we could ever have. Yeah. Literally showing a young man that he should pump the gas for his mom instead. Yes, the comment section will challenge me on that, but I mean that. No. A young man, like any man, should pump the gas for a woman. Yes. He should hold the door for a woman. Yes. He should stand on the side of a busy street for a woman. Yes. Some may argue that, but I tell you what, I stand on business. And it might be a generational thing, but we believe that there's roles that men should have, and we believe in these roles. Yeah. At the same time, we acknowledge the role of women in our life, which is my next thing I'm going to tell you guys about. Okay. As a man, a married man, there are shortcomings I have.
Okay.
And these shortcomings are actually my wife's strong points. Teaching me emotional sensitivity.
Yeah.
Teaching me how to recognize certain things. I'm a bull in a china shop sometimes. I am.
Right.
I come home raising and kicking up all kind of sand, wondering what's going on.
Right.
And she say, well, this just happened in such and such his life. Me, ignorant me, all I know is there's a mess in the living room and ain't been cleaned up yet. It better be cleaned up by the time I get back out the shower.
I know that's right.
But she teaches me that,
Right.
the value of that. So there definitely is absolute value in what a man is to learn from a woman, as we all acknowledge,
Amen.
as well as what a woman can learn from a man.
But I'll say this for women. I really feel like as a man, at your best, you can only reach about 40% of your maximum potential.
Ooh. Say it again, big dog.
I just feel like as a man, I'm talking about at my best, I can only reach about 40% of my potential.
How do you reach the rest?
It has to be a woman.
Yes, sir.
A woman is gonna take you probably to 140% of your potential, because she sees something in you that you don't even see in yourself. Because sometimes it's those encouraging words, or just believing in you, or just jump starting those things. That's what pushes you over. So the power of a woman, man, is like unmatched. And I always tell people, like, that's like the greatest thing God has ever given this world.
Yeah.
A woman. Now they hard to deal with at times, but that's the greatest gift God has ever given this
If that
world.
gets us canceled, I will accept that.
Right.
But what Nick just so clearly illustrated is a man is not at his best until he has a good woman behind him.
Yes.
He is going to reach his potential.
Yes.
But you must first show yourself worthy of having a woman come and help you.
Yes.
If you sorry, if you ain't worth a doggone, why would she follow you? Why would she let you be the lead of her house if you sorry?
Yeah.
But if you show yourself approved as being an awesome leader, she will help build you.
Like you
That
just,
good woman.
Yes.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I
like
think
you
that's
said-
a lot of women's complaints right now, the lack of eligible men or good men that they're looking for. This narrative has been going on for a few years now of we seem like we're at a gender war with men and women, especially in our community. Nobody can do right. But I think if we just sit down and had a conversation, because we can't fix women. Women can't fix us, but we can talk to men. Women need to talk to women. We don't need to be talking at each other. I think that's the problem that we're going to, because we're not going to get anywhere.
You know, this might get me in trouble. I'm going to stay still though. Some of these happily married women, be it young, middle-aged, older, grandma, whatever they get referred to as they age and mature, might have to speak up and tell that young woman she might have to redefine a few things. This is what I'm saying about that part. As I'm hearing this new quantification of what a man is, and it's being quantified by a value system, but this value system is run amok. It's wrong. It's not right. The value of a man is not his tangible pockets, not the exceeding amount he can provide for a family. That's not what a man's value is. That awesome man might be the man who's going to get up and work hard to provide for his family, to make sure the needs are met. Make sure they have safety, protection. All these things are there, right? As his part goes, at least. The value of a man also comes from someone who's going to respect her and show her, or help her, I should say, to rear these children. Right? So the value of man should not be set off of his appearance and his pockets alone. The value of a man might be that man who drives a much older Camry, but he's paying his own Camry payment on that Toyota Camry.
That's right.
That house he owns or might not own, he's looking to own one eventually. He has ambition, like Kanye say, look in his eyes. You know?
It's interesting.
One week is the bomb, next week is the fries, Kanye said, right?
Right, exactly.
What I'm saying is ultimately here, big dog, is we've got to have the conversation cross gender wise, letting women know what a valuable man is so they can reevaluate what they're looking for.
Yes.
You know, and I say that as a man who makes exceeding. We all make great incomes. We all have the stature by way of resume, but we know that's not our value. Our value is our emotional sensitivity.
Yes.
Our belief in masculinity and protection. Providing. Right? Please, go ahead.
I agree with everything you just said. And sometimes I struggle with this topic because I don't know. I feel like really this topic specifically with women, when men leading with money, you got to have this, you got to make this amount of money, you got to be this height, you got to be all of these different things. I struggle with knowing if that's reality or if that's just their perspective, because I find a lot of women that they're just not on social media. They don't care about how much money you make. They don't care about the car that you're driving. They don't care about how tall you are. Those are just maybe preferences.
Yeah.
I think if you put a good man in them that's hardworking, that's honest, that's willing to build a family and a unit, she'll take him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the most toxic, ugly, horrible, misleading women on these platforms, their voices are amplified, and especially for social media, so it changes the narrative specifically for black women. You know what I mean? It makes them look really, really bad. Like I was telling someone recently, I was like, you might not want to hear this, but this is the truth. Sexy Red, Suki, Cardi B, those are your leaders. They are leading your narrative. When another community sees you, they see Sexy Red. Regardless if you believe it or not. Because I would think about ourselves, specifically when you think about cops, America's Most Wanted.
You picture the worst of the worst.
Worst of the worst. Who were on those platforms the most?
Yeah. Black men.
Black men.
Yeah.
But I've realized over the last few years that narrative has kind of changed. Where we're not, as black men, on the forefront doing cooning and acting a fool, it seems like it's women, black women. So I encourage them to stop supporting some of these blog pages like Spiritual World, Baller Report, where all they show is the negativity. And a lot of times it's the negativity of women. And it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? And it bothers me. It bothers me to my core because I really believe black women or women period are great. They just not on social media acting a goddamn fool.
So what you're saying here, if I understand this properly here, is, and I'm feeling good about this, is the reflection of social media is not the true reflection of the actual woman.
That's fact.
The reflection of social media is not the actual black woman.
No.
The representation that's being given to the world is not the actual
No.
By far.
woman.
By far.
And I think
And I want everyone to have that takeaway. What
Yes.
you're seeing
Yeah,
on your
please.
Explorer page,
Yep.
what you're seeing on your Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, that is not the reality of
And that's
it.
such a small percentage.
That's the small
Such
percentage,
a
and it's
small
not a
percentage.
reflection.
It's not. It's not at all, bro.
And it really, like I said, it really bothers me because I know a lot of amazing
My mom, my
women.
sister,
Yes.
my wife.
These are real women. They're out here working. They in the gym. They taking care of their families. They're here. They just not on social media acting a goddamn fool. You know what I'm saying? So, but the narrative has been painted, unfortunately, when you got someone like Suki in London talking about getting her private snatched in front of others.
Yeah.
So now others, next time they see a black woman, it's like, I told you.
But
I told you.
yeah, that video made me feel
Go
some
ahead,
type
Nick.
of way.
Wait,
Nah,
go ahead,
because it made me feel some type. I'm like,
Well,
bro.
explain
So
that
you
video and what
jump, so
happened
you
from it,
jump
please.
out of a car, talking about what you're gonna do to a man in front of these Caucasian women.
It's crazy.
That's embarrassing.
So there's an artist on her platform
Yes.
who got out talking extra raunchy in front of what we call mixed company.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mixed company.
But it's a bad representation because that's truly not how our women
that's
feel.
not our
But
women,
that
bro.
celebrity has been given so much shine on social network that to those who don't know the real version of a woman, a black woman specifically,
Right.
they think that that's the version of what's
Because
actually
that's what
there.
they see on TV. That's
Because
the
that's what they see on
narrative
TV.
that's sold. That's the narrative that's sold or painted.
So what we're doing here is truthfully trying to change that narrative by showing the true version of what a black man is, the true version of what a black woman is.
Yeah.
Right?
I take that serious.
Let's keep fighting for this thing.
I take
man.
it serious. Like anytime, and I've told people this before, I am a representation of my community. When I was working a job, as a black man, we don't go to work to work. We go to work, it's a duty. Because I know I am a representation of my whole community. Other communities don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I take it so serious, because the next young man coming up behind me, I'm hoping that I paved the way and I've made it easier for him.
An ambassador.
Right. So anytime someone's encountered to me, I can hold a conversation, articulate myself well, dressed appropriately, so you get the image of what a black man is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna act a fool and screaming and cussing and doing all of this crazy weird stuff. So the next guy behind me, I've made it harder for him. He might not even get the job. So I take this very serious, even on my social media platform. So anytime you see me outside, I'm always a representation of my people and my community. I take that very, very seriously.
See, yeah, you sound like me. See, that's how I feel because I feel like I'm here to represent for other black men.
Yeah,
And you like to say to open the door and to keep that gate open.
Yeah.
Because again, if I do something wrong, I probably damage it for 10 other brothers behind me.
Right.
And we have to take that serious. Because again, we don't get a lot of opportunities.
No.
But we have to showcase to people too. I'm here to almost break that narrative you have too.
Yeah.
When you see me, because if you see me out and I don't have sweatshirt on, you talking about a guy with probably 40 plus tattoos.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm scared that he's tall, he has tattoos. No, I'm an approachable dude.
Right,
I'm an
right.
approachable dude. And I try to make sure that when you see me, I'm not what you think I am. I'm not what you think, what you see on TV or what you see on social media.
Yeah.
You know, I can get in any room. I can get in your boardroom. I can kick it in the hood, wherever you want to go. I can play those different rooms.
And I am a girl dad.
Yeah, I'm
So
a
drop on your own cheer
I'm a
practice.
girl dad doing hair, shopping on the aisle I don't want to shop on, but I'm on that aisle, you know. So I mean, but
and people be so blown when, because obviously we made ourselves like this: the beard, the bald head, all the tattoos. It looks very scary and menacing. But I actually enjoy when you judge me, because
I do.
we all have
Man,
prejudice.
boy, my
Until
guy.
I open our mouths, because we've experienced that for.
Yeah.
We open our mouth and we articulate and say, "Oh,
You're what I thought you were.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I know."
But
you know what I'm saying? This is what we are.
But I'm like you with that. I just love when you have this certain thought in your mind of who I am.
Yeah.
I love it. I love to just show you something different because you think, oh, that's who he is. No, I'm so much more. I'm so much more, bro. You don't even
guys,
know.
I want you all to understand that we are challenging preconceived notions. We are rewriting the narrative. Nick is doing so for quite some time with an awesome podcast called The Firm. You'll definitely see some details to following that, as well as follow his Instagram. Myron, the same thing. Myron Jackson, MJ3000 on platforms. So much more being done to help change that narrative and improve our society by actually being the blueprint that you guys need to perhaps draw from our testimony, as Nick said earlier. We're out here in the community trying to combat the preconceived notion and set that actual trend, because we believe we can definitely improve as a human race, specifically as men, and then moreover as black men, setting that example, right?
Yes.
You guys, I'm super happy you joined us for this podcast. I am Big Ron Jones with Myron Jackson and Nick Clark. Practical advice for your real world goals.